So good afternoon. And I will sit. The lights are still as bright as they were at 8 this morning. So I'm here to just have a couple of closing comments. For those of you who are not here at 8 this morning, I'm Patrick Gauthier. I manage Amazon Pay. I have this privilege. I wanted first to thank all of you who have come and shared a day or day and a half with us here in Seattle. I do have a special request before I go any further. I need all of you who are not from Seattle, when you go back home, to tell all your colleagues that it rains all the time in Seattle and it's no sense in moving there, unless of course it's to come work for Amazon. It's just we want to keep the price of real estate down. So seriously, I hope you had a really insightful day. Our point was to share information, to give you inspiration for your business, to show you the various facets of how all the services that Amazon develops can potentially help you. We're by no means believe one size fits all, whatever, and we're very keen on providing different ways of approaching things. And hopefully by learning from even other merchants, that gives you some ideas on how to grow your business. We're here, the fundamentals of Amazon Pay is we're here to connect you with over 300 million customers. And you've probably heard, for those of you, or some of the use case this afternoon, is that we will drive conversion. We will drive net new customers, because about 54% of Amazon Pay users are actually Prime customers, and Prime customers tend to be very active online, as we all know. We will drive higher ticket because, again, of the makeup of the audience. And so, the first, and you probably heard that, so generally share of checkout can be anywhere between 20 and 40%, which is, very material. My second ask is, if this is not your experience, or if there's things that are not happening the way you think, talk to us. We will deploy people to help you. Our goal is to indeed remove friction, because when we remove friction, we are going to create a delightful experience for the customer, for our joint customer, and that ultimately is what is driving us. We have plenty of data that shows that when we create this magic experience, when we enable you to actually connect with the Amazon buyer, your business gets a lift. We also nurture the relationship that we have with those buyers, and therefore we can continue to serve them correctly over time in a variety of things. Second, I think you've probably also heard a little bit about how we're leaning forward. So something really important is happening now. As we just saw a moment ago, the boundaries between online and offline are blurring. As a matter of fact, the mental model online, offline is obsolete. This was the way you could define commerce last century. This century moving forward is really about connected experiences and not connected experiences. I've been in this industry for a little while. I've done all sorts of payment technology, etc. And we payment guys love to imagine that the most important thing in the world is payment. And I still remember many years ago, the CFO of Canadian Tire, second largest retailer in Canada, tell me, Patrick, I'd like to remind you of something. We retailers are not in the business of taking payments. We're in the business of selling things. And so it's very easy, when you're focused on payment and checkout and last step, to forget that that's not the only thing. My core belief, our core belief, is that often it's easy to spend time on that last minute of the interaction, just the mechanics of payment, and forget about the first 29 minutes of the interaction where the consumer is engaging with you to buy. And that there are many, many things that we can do to actually facilitate that. And so moving forward, our approach is very much, it's payment plus something. Payment still, because ultimately you do need that to conclude the transaction. But the plus is because of the plus that we can create further up in the funnel in order to remove friction. We can identify a customer as they enter into your footprint much sooner, so that you can personalize the experience. The simplest form of personalization, for instance, is language. Another form of personalization. Is this a Prime customer or not? Am I going to do something special for them? So Payment Plus will be a big area on which you will see us introduce solutions that then will help you drive the growth of the business. And second, the connected experiences, what does that mean? It means we're thinking beyond the button, outside of the button. It means devices like Alexa. I think you heard a little bit about that today. TV, there's great opportunities to do things on TV. If you doubt me, just look at what's happening with Twitch. Twitch is a really interesting, now I'll be honest, I don't get it, but I understand. I'm not demographic. My 24-year-old son who's video game addicted, no, he doesn't get why I don't get it. But there are new audiences, new ways to engage audiences. There will be a point where, today Twitch is a way to engage on, first it was on video game, now it's become an event. At some point, event and brands have really a porous distinction. All of these new connected experiences are going to create novel ways of engaging consumers. Likewise, online in store. Today we power, for instance, you heard about the pop-up store. We power also the checkout in Amazon Bookstore. In Amazon Bookstore, where we've been up for about a year, we have the same proportion, same share of consumers checking using Amazon Pay on the Amazon app as Starbucks has mobile users. And they've been at it for a much longer time, and clearly Starbucks does an excellent job of enabling a mobile experience in their store. And we think we've just started in terms of creating those new experiences. And so for us, those new devices, those new places and points of contact are really important to, again, help you grow the business. And what we aspire to do is to do it in a way that the consumer doesn't have to relearn over and over again. It's like, oh, this device is used this way, this device is used this way. To provide some consistency on the information that they can use, on the markers that will allow them to progress through the funnel. And as a consequence, reduce friction. We're in the business of creating convenience and familiarity and trust, and therefore for you, conversion and growth. So hopefully we were able to exemplify that through some of our speakers. Well, I forgot, one dear to my heart, which is social, what we did with Curelate, which I think is important because it taps into a notion that not every shopping journey is the same. 55% of product searches nowadays start on some form of marketplace. The major entry point of a product search is not Google, it's a marketplace. It's Amazon, it's Etsy, it's eBay, etc. 55% growing. The implication is 45% of people have something different in mind. They don't start with, I am looking for bracket product, TV, shoes, etc. They may be looking for an experience. They may be looking for information. They may be browsing. And part of the pleasure they get is in the browse. And so we are very keen on removing those friction points in all of those different paths to purchase that the consumer has. So this will be, again, a big area where we want to be in the business of empowering your business. So aside from some thanking all of you who've traveled, I understand for some coming from the East Coast, it was bumpy rides at time. I heard stories of running in airports and good stuff like that, which I empathize and sympathize, been there, done that. I also want to thank our speakers, especially outside speakers. This was really important for us that, yes, you get access to the people from Amazon, from various groups, not just Pay, but FBA, Echo, and so on, but also from people on the outside. The best people who can share their experience. People have the same knowledge and the same vocabulary. I also want to thank our partners, at two levels. And we had partners that help on some sponsorship of the event, but also, more importantly, over the last year and a half, we've been working a lot with partners to make it easier for merchants to roll things out. We don't have necessarily, we have many different services. You saw it in the trade fair yesterday, but it doesn't mean we have all and everything, and it does take a village to actually create a great consumer experience. And so for us, it's super important to work and connect well with partners, because then it removes the friction for you as a retailer as you're running your business. We will have this again next year. And because of that, I really would like to ask every single one of you, you're going to receive a request for a survey. It'll be quick and painless, I assure you. Please send us your feedback. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like. We really value that. It will be taken into account. A lot of the things we changed from format from last year was a function of that. If there's a place where one can invent a lot, is definitely in the space of conferences. I also, this morning, I shared my email, for those who are not in the session. It's gauthip@amazon.com. And we value feedback. Jeff Bezos puts his emails out. He receives about 200, 250 emails a day. And they don't go into a basket that he opens from time to time. And it is part of the culture from a management standpoint at Amazon that those emails we get from our customers, whether they be consumers or whether they be merchants, are the first thing we open up every day. And it's the first priority. As a matter of fact, if Jeff forwards someone in Amazon an email about a problem that a customer had, usually he forwards it with a question mark. And we put our life on hold. Like, whatever you're doing, set it aside, take the Jeff email, and don't just solve the customer problem, but understand the root cause so that that problem doesn't happen again. Those are called Jeff question marks. So it's part of who we are, and therefore, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. We aspire to be great, but we are far from perfect, and it's through feedback that we can be better at helping you. And so with that, again, thank you all for a wonderful day. To those who have to travel, safe travels, and see you again next year.